You're looking all fly. Got your haircut. Good morning, everybody. It is Cynthia Kahi, and we are doing week 3 of our book club. You Can Do Hard Things. I'm really excited. We're moving along. I think it's rather quickly. We said 5 weeks. I was going to double up this chapter, but I'm not sure if I can because this chapter's on courage. So in the very beginning of the chapter, I always put a quote. And this one says, I believe what got you here won't get you there. And that actually is from Coach Burt. And it's one of those things that you think about, and it's what we talk about a lot, doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? Are we doing that same thing over and over again? Why are we doing that same thing over and over again? So we talked about, what do you want in order to get out of the rut of doing the same thing over and over again, in order for us to really evaluate and see where we're at, right? That was the big question. What do you want? And we did that in several ways, with our business, with our relationships, with our family, and just in an overall picture. What do we want our life to look like? Then as we went through that in chapter 2, we went through affirmations and what does it look like? How do we want to get there? What are some of our beliefs that are holding us back and why? And for week 2, what we were just discussing before we started was, do we have affirmations that we created because, right, we realized something that's holding us back and how we want to move past it, right? Because again, the affirmation helps us put a sticky note right in front of us and brings us to our conscious mind versus listening to all that stuff from our subconscious, right? So I wanted to just go over a little bit, and I'm recording it. So this is really important because a lot of people like to look back at these. Osbert and I had a conversation, and he was looking for one that we had done together on a one-on-one last year. And it's funny because, even when I talk about them, and we talked about it last week, I was like, somebody write it down, because sometimes I forget and then we forget. But the reason why is because what happens is, we haven't committed it to memory, right? We haven't gotten it to be part of our subconscious yet. It's still that sticky note that we put right in front of us. So the reason for doing it that way, and the reason for repeating it, and the reason why we put it on our timer, right, is so that it becomes more a reality, so that we are rewiring those thoughts. So if it's important to you and it's something that you want to change, the consistency has to be there in order for us to get everything and in order for us to rewire our subconscious, we have to do it consistently so that we, right, make it our new belief, so that it becomes part of our life, so that we don't have to sit there and think about all the stuff that's running in the back of our head. You see what I'm saying? And so, Osbert, I would love it if you would share for us that affirmation that was really important to him. And he was like, I can't find it. And I said, well, normally what we do, and normally what I try to do after our one-on-ones, is text it to you so that we have it, because I like to write it down. So Osbert found it. He thought it was really, really impactful. So I would like him to share. I'm not sure if he wants to share it, but I would love for you to share it.
Oh, no, we're good. Absolutely. I don't have a problem sharing. I share very well as well. And
right? Thank you.
So, with that being said, it was, I am emotionally courageous in doing the right thing in the face of painful feelings. And so,
Go ahead. I was going to say, Kate. Well, I was going to say, can you explain a little bit why? You don't have to tell the whole thing, but just a little bit.
No. So, it's just, so obviously, coming from a place of strength. So it's funny that you touched on this, because I'm reading a book. It's a book about masculine, long story short, but it's basically
the masculine and the feminine, and you're talking about the masculine
and doing that whole thing, and kind of providing space and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in relationships, rather than coming from a place of hurt, it's not about just being reactive. It's just about doing the right thing, even though I'm not emotionally there yet. because it's allowing like whoever, it could be a loved one, it could be a past relate, whatever it might be. It's just allowing, like when I take it to the next level, like, you know, like as we have a tendency when we're upset, um, obviously, when it's too hot in the kitchen, you know, intelligence is out the window.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we get to that point to where I'm kind of like, okay, she jabbed me, I'm gonna jab her back. And so it's like, and when I do that, I don't provide that space to allow, could be my loved one or whoever, to own that, because all they remember is the last thing that I did, which is I took it too far.
Mm.
And so it's basically just kind of having that rooted in like, okay, like I'm emotionally courageous because like knowing that like even though I might not get that result, I'm just trying to do the right thing, even though I'm coming from a place of pain. And really just really owning in on that. And I feel like that's kept me grounded with certain things, like taking that breath, not really just like, you know, just going off, because when I'm in that zone, especially in the work aspect of it, it's like it's hard to turn off, right? You know, entrepreneurship, we're here, we're constantly on the go and everything. And doesn't mean that like my family needs to get the leftover version of me. So that's the biggest thing. So just being able to admit that was a big deal. And I feel like that's kept me grounded quite a bit. And it's I've done a lot of soul searching over the last 3.5 years since that first event that me and you went to, Sin, in San Mateo. But that one really spoke to me. And after finding it, I was like, okay, that's why it really spoke to me. And it was something that we had created, and then we actually worked on it for like 15-20 minutes. We're like, okay, how do we get that to where it triggers this to really have that deep meaning? And then when I found it, I was like, okay, now I'm never gonna forget it. So I do appreciate the time that we were able to really put that together, because it was curated specifically for that emotional trigger. And I can still see it until now. So it's the exact same thing. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And it's awesome and really amazing to me. This is affirmations was the first thing that started really to spark me for just opening up and learning as much as I possibly could about it, because the self-awareness part is really the thing that helps you grow, right? You knew this was happening. We didn't know how exactly we were going to quote unquote get over the hurdle, right? Move past it, learn to grow and see it when it's happening, and then stop it and make it different. Don't repeat the same pattern over and over and over again, right? So they're really, really powerful and super impactful when you use them. So just by a show of hands, and I'm just curious, how many people said them more than once a day last week? Nice. I'm impressed. Andrea, I can't see your hand. Yes, good job. Cheryl, if you would like to give Andrea your compliment, please do. She was waiting for you, Andrea.
Yes, Andrea, the massage was fantastic. Anybody who lives in Santa Rosa should take advantage. It was great mentally and physically. Thank you. I look forward to the next one.
Thank you, Cheryl.
I just wanted you to hear it
Appreciate
from
you.
her. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted you to hear it from her.
Thank you.
So going into this chapter, this is really important. So what got you here, where you are right now today, will not get you there, wherever you want to go, where you're going. So how do we help ourselves transition? There are so many things that happen to us. It took courage to go to GrowthCon. 12,000 people was our first GrowthCon. It was in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was in February of 2020. We went to Osbert talked about the first event we went to, which was in October of 2019. But to put yourself in a room with all of these amazing people who are doing huge things. They're telling you to do something. The business coach is telling you to do something. You've got, friends telling you, what are you doing that for? And what's 10X, a cult? Literally got that. Like, I'm not kidding. Then I get there, blows my mind. And I'm like, what? Why didn't anybody tell me this? So it takes courage. There's different levels of courage. There's different types of courage. I talk about it in the book. Asking for somebody's number, as a teenager or 20 something, trying to ask a girl out, a girl trying to ask a guy out, asking for their number. That's one kind of courage. But going to a business event, trying to change your life, trying to improve your life, to improve your trajectory, to improve the lives of the people around you, that takes courage. there's a reel that I post often. And a lot of times it's funny. I'll share this with you guys because when I post things, I mostly do it for myself. I post those things as reminders because on any given day, there's something that I'm going through just like everybody else. And so the reason why I do it is because when I share very well, somebody's like, oh my God, that resonated with me. Thank you so much for doing that. A lot of people, I get text messages that say, thank you for being so positive. Thank you for being a light. Thank you for giving your energy. All of those things take courage. It is a vulnerable moment for me. I'm not perfect. In the beginning of my book, I say I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. I have no PhD. I have no degree. I didn't go to school for this. I mean, this is all life experience. That's where it comes from. As I grow, I learn. As I learn, I share. As I share, I help other people. When I help other people, they help other people. When they help other people, it's an amazing just momentum. It's a cycle. It's the ripple effect. It's the pebble in the water. You think that you're not doing something, but you really, really are. So I want everybody to hear that because going through this process, going through this book, learning all of these tips and tricks that I have gone through, I want to share them with you so that you can better yourself in the way that you want to, right? Because everything in this book is customizable. Everything. You do it what works for you, right? You take the bits and pieces and you use it how you need to for your life. So I put the definition of courage in this chapter. And when I was going through the writing process, it was really important to me to have it flow, to really get it to that next point, the natural progression of things. So chapter 1, once you find out what you want and you have some self-awareness and you're looking at things, right? Then little things come up. We do the affirmations. We created the affirmations for you or for each individual, for yourself, right? Then you look at those things. And here's where the courage comes in. Do you like the things that you've been doing in your life? Has it been rewarding, fulfilling? Does it give you joy? Right? This is the chapter where you have to find the courage to make the changes. Because change is hard, right? A lot of people don't like change. I shared yesterday on a live, I've been getting up and going outside. It's freezing outside, but I really like it. But sometimes my plate has been really full and I'm doing a lot. And so I just want to stay in bed. I'm not going to lie. I just want to stay in bed. Get up. And it asked me if I was playing music. I'm not playing music. Can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry, just making sure because it looked like it turned it off for a second. Sorry. So the courage, right, to change the things you've always done, to pinpoint those things about yourself, to know why you fall off, right? Consistency is huge. Why do you start for 5 days and then go, oh, well, I'm done. I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll start again next week. Why do you start the diet and not continue with it? Why do you start going to the gym and then don't? Why do you start a book and then not finish it? Right? What are some of your indicators that you've learned about yourself on why these things continually happen? My girlfriend told me, this is a tough one. This is a good share, everybody. My girlfriend told me, after my last breakup that she goes, why do you keep dating the same men with a different head? And I'm like, what? And so there's something in me, right, that likes certain attributes, certain traits about the male in my life. And so I was like, I don't know. So I had to look inward. I was like, at first I thought it was kind of harsh, but then I was like, it's a little kick in the ass that somebody else gave me. I was like, okay, I'll take it. But, sometimes it's one of those things. That's why I share because it happens to somebody. There's somebody else that has a similar story than I do, right? There's somebody else that has it. And so I really took that in. I really digested that. And I learned different things about myself, insecurities, securities that I have, and traits and things that why I have those patterns, right? It's crazy. So when you have those moments, it takes courage to change them. It takes courage to actually look inside yourself and figure out what it is. And it's not necessarily good or bad. It's, and I say this in the book too. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. So with that 10% of that moment, right? That's what life is. How did I react to it? What did I do? How did I change? Did I go back to my old habits? Did I use the same tools that I had before? Or do I have the courage to actually change? Do I have the courage to look inside myself and say, oh, that's where that came from, right? Osbert was doing something. He made his affirmation. He realized what he was doing. And so now he wants to change it. Cheryl also, there's things, with mindset and things that happened way long time ago, but it replays and it replays and it replays. So we have the choice, right? We have the choice. Do we want to continue doing it that way? Is that what we really want our life to look like? Or do we want to take it in and take the action steps to change it? One of the biggest things I learned in the self-development journey was self-awareness. To ask yourself those hard questions. Why do I keep dating the same person with a different head? Why do I start the gym or I start doing physical fitness for myself and then I fall off? Here's the other thing that goes with that. And we talked about this a little bit earlier too. Priorities, right? What are your priorities today? They will always change. When I was writing the book was a priority. Right now, where I'm in the season of everything knuckleballs. Knuckleballs are a priority, right? Sharing a lot. Relationship on the back burner. I don't need one of those. I'm focusing on the knuckleball. I've had talks with KMBR. I've had mastermind groups that are giving me relationships and connections. And I'm learning to really, my word for this year is clarity. Did anybody pick a word for this year? A focus word. That might be something that helps you with courage. So the focus word for me is clarity. And last year I had 2 focus words. One was abundance and the other one was intentionality. And so when I think about a situation, when I think about something that I'm going to do next, I filter it through my clarity. Am I doing this? Is it going to bring me clarity? Am I doing this particular action, giving myself clarity? Because I'm focusing and being intentional on where I'm going this year. I'm not going to get caught up in the weeds. I'm not going to go, take a detour over here. I want the clarity, because one of the things that helped me figure this out was last year was abundance. And I used abundance because it was, I was finding myself comparing to other people. I was comparing myself on my journey. I was like, okay, I've been doing this for 2 years. I've written a book. I've done this. And now, well, so-and-so's over here and they've done the XYZ. And I'm like, oh man, I should be doing da-da-da-da-da. But I told myself abundance for all. I want love, light, money, energy, abundance of all of that, not just for me, for everybody in my life, for everybody that I come in contact with. If there's somebody in my life and I can help you in any way get the things that you are working towards in any way, I'm here for you. And that to me is abundance. Anything I can give is abundance. And then, so I went through that journey last year, but I found while I was doing all of those things, I was doing too many, right? So I was doing abundance, but I was doing too many things. And then I started to lose my clarity. I started to lose my focus. So this year, when I picked clarity, I said, okay, this is my deadline. I hired a social media manager and I have a consultant, and now I'm looking for somebody. I'm starting a board for the Knuckleball. So now I'm looking for somebody to be on my board, and then I'm looking for investors. So it's a process, but it's all clarity. But then think about it. What got me here won't get me there, right? So the reason why I chose clarity, and stay with me here because this is really important. The reason why I chose clarity is because I found myself drifting. But why did I find myself drifting? I was scared because I was embarking on something I had never done before. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I'm one little old Italian girl with red hair who owns a restaurant, and I want to take the knuckleball into stadiums. I want to put it into freezer sections. So I was finding myself doing things that were distracting me from my overall goal. So the reason why I picked clarity, because I looked inside myself and I said, what are you doing? Why are you doing this project? Why are you going to this seminar? Why are you flying off over here, right? The clarity again is helping me focus on if it is pertinent to what is on my plate right now, which is my goal for the knuckleball, then it will be on my plate. If your focus is you and your focus is growing yourself, then you need to put yourself at the top of the list. If you are not doing your affirmations, they need to be there. If you're not getting your ass to the gym, you need to go. So look at what your goals are and where you want to be, and find that clarity so that you can set things in motion with your top 3. So priorities, pick your top 3. And I got a little off track, sorry, but it's important because so there's things that I've learned along the journey, right? This book was written almost 2 years ago now. And there's just things that I've learned and I've evolved. But the courage part for me, that share, was that we find ourselves doing things. And I'm like, but why am I doing it? I know where I want to go. I know where I want to be, right? But I'm like, I'm not getting there. Why am I not getting there? Well, I'm not getting there because I'm wasting all my time flying off over here and going over there when I should be focusing right here. And so I took a hard look at my expenses. Yikes. That was a big one. I was like, yeah, David. Yep. We've all been to the conferences. Well, the right side of the screen anyway. We've all been to the conferences. We've spent the money, and I'm like, okay. And at one point, also somebody told me, there's only so much information that you can take in. Like, where's your action? Like, what are you doing? And so that was the clarity for me. Like I said, that was my word. That's why I picked that word for this year. So if you don't have a word, I strongly encourage you to pick one. This is a really good time, especially with this chapter. Look at what we've done so far. Look at the work that you have done. What do you want? Then you're setting your affirmations in place to help you with the struggles that you have. And this is number 3. This is the courage to make the change. You have to put action items in place. Okay. So if you haven't yet, pick 3 things that will help you focus on your first priority. There's some things that, are hard to admit. There are things that are hard to get past, but the affirmation will help you. So again, when I say you can do hard things, I promise you can. You just have to learn to sit with it, to pull it out of you, right? To get it out into the space where you can actually see it. Sometimes it's in there and you don't know it's there. So with the process of doing the work, it'll come out and you'll see it and you'll be like, I didn't even know that was there. I just, you go along life and you don't slow down and you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's the whole point of doing it this way, so that you actually can see it. Tagline for my book: being proactive with your growth and not reactive with your life. The reaction comes in just the doing every single day, the same thing over and over. You're just reacting to the situation that's in front of you. When you're proactive and you can get in front of it, constantly evaluating, reflecting, and then growing from it, that's when you really see your life change. It's an amazing process. It really is. And I'm really proud of you for all being here, because at one point in our lives, we've all crossed at different moments. And so it's really cool to see everybody coming together. And it's funny because for me, I don't know about you guys, the left half of the screen is everybody local, and then the right half of the screen is the business groups and the development that we've gone through. It's crazy, but it's amazing. So I read a book, and if you haven't read it, ladies, I would suggest you read it. It is called Think and Grow Rich for Women. It is the classic text of Think and Grow Rich. I still, just to be honest, I have not gotten through the original. I have not gotten through it. I pick it up, I put it down. I think it's because it's very, very context wise, it's really difficult for me to digest. So there's a lot of work in that book. You got to do a lot of things in that book. But in Sharon's book, so the author is Sharon Lechter, and she does it with Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is the original author of Think and Grow Rich. There's a lot of stuff for us in there, ladies, about different groups. There's a spin for the female mindset versus the male mindset that, wrote it. One of the things that I took from the book, and this really, really helped me because it changed my mindset. We've all heard take a leap with faith, take a leap of faith. Sharon says in the book, take a leap with faith. You take it with you, knowing on the other side, no matter what you're doing, it's going to work out. You take the faith with you. Don't think about it on one side and just hope that it'll be there on the other side. Literally take it with you. You have it inside of you, the things that you can do, that you want to do. So take a leap with faith. And that, to me, honestly, is almost the epitome of courage. To me, that's doing the thing that frightens me, but I do it anyway. But I really do it anyway. I do have the definition of courage in here. So the definition of courage is doing something that frightens you while you use confidence in believing or trusting in yourself. That's courage. That's the dictionary definition of courage. And I put that in here. It's important. And I used an example in this chapter of what happened to me at the time, but I think the more relative example that I shared with you a little bit earlier, the truth is, once you learn that you have it inside of you, the courage, the faith, you change your mindset. You start to do things more often. The more you do it, the better you get. The more often you do it, the more you'll want to do it. And so when I first learned of 10X, it was just a huge mind-blowing experience, and there was so much for me to take in. But the courage really, for me, was to change. Nobody was doing this in my circle. Nobody was going out there and bettering themselves. Everybody was drinking and partying, and we were just going along with life, taking everything. People were complaining about their husbands. We're talking about what the neighbor did, Little League, so-and-so did this. And I'm like, this is so tiring. And so I finally I called it out. And that's when I went to the original real estate seminar that we did. And it took courage. I went by myself. It went by myself. And so during this chapter, through the text, I shared that it changed me, and the courage it took for me to take that first step. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who I was going to become. I just knew that I needed a change. I just knew that what I was doing wasn't what I wanted to do. So I'm sure that everybody has that moment. So I just want you to think about that for a second and write that down and say what that thing is that you don't want to do anymore, you know? And that's part of the affirmation process too. Why did you want to be part of the book club? What is it in your life that you're looking at that you're saying, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. That's not who I want to be. That's not how I want to spend my time. That's not what I want to do anymore. Because we're learning and evolving. And in every stage of our life, an affirmation will work. You can make an affirmation every day if you wanted to. They're not as effective that way, just so you know. It really is the consistency that will help you change that. And so one of the last things that I want to say is, so I came up with this whole process, you know, of the book and what it looks like to do hard things. The root of doing hard things is changing your mindset. When you change, and you should write this down, when you change what you think, it changes how you think. Because when you change what recording is happening in your head, how you think will change. And it's great. I love when people nod their heads. But Andrea, I know that she's seen some big changes. I know that she's seen some big changes, and I've seen them, and I think it's amazing. And so when
Cynthia, will you say the quote one more time, please?
oh yeah.
Thank
So
you.
when you change what you think, it changes how you think. So case in point, you can do hard things. If you always told yourself, I can't do hard things, I can't do hard things, that's how you think. I can't do hard things. But when you change your mindset and you say, I can do hard things, then how you think changes. Because the things that you thought were hard aren't really that hard anymore. When you know it's hard, right? Then you change how you think. Coach says, it's going to be a fight, but doggone it, I'm going to win every time. If you know it's going to be a fight, but you tell yourself you're in it to win it, you're going to go in with a whole different set of tools than if you go in and you say, oh shit, this is a fight. I can't do it. I don't know what to do. These guys are going to get me, blah, 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 blah. This, career, I don't know if I can do it. You will intentionally sabotage yourself. That's what happens. Your brain will always keep you comfortable. Your brain will always protect you and always tell you those things that you don't necessarily know it's happening, but it will keep you safe by telling you, oh no, it's okay, don't do that. Oh no, it's okay, you don't have to go over there. Don't read that book, oh, it's okay that you stopped. But the mindset of what you think, no, it's not okay if I don't finish the book. And then it changes how I think, okay, I'm going to get through that book. How am I going to get through that book? Just for me, and getting out there and walking or doing some sort of physical fitness. How am I keeping my body moving? I was telling myself, oh my gosh, I'm busy, it's okay. But then I'm like, no, it's not okay. Because I was finding that it's messing with my mind. It's making me more lazy. I didn't want to get up. I was like, nope, I don't want to get up. It's okay because I was busy. I don't need to get up. I've done all of the work that no, it's not. Because it starts the perpetual vicious cycle of, I'm going to stay comfortable. I'm going to do what I've always done. No. stuck my flag and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So with this particular activity at the back, this is the point, this is the reflection. So what are 3 things holding you back from change? And I give the examples because I think that it's hard to figure that out sometimes. You know, like I say, you can't see the picture from inside the frame because you're in it so much. Sometimes you don't know, right? So for me, when I was writing this, some of the fears were, thank you, Cheryl. Have fun at the game. The fear of learning what I don't know. You know, when I stepped into that arena with 12,000 people, I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. All these people know something more than me. You know, even business groups, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. There was another fear of growing my mindset to push myself to change. You know, again, a mom of 3 and a business owner, a wife. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, it was a huge fear for me to step out and say, no, this is what I want. Like, I understand that I am all of these things to everybody, but all of those things to everybody isn't growing me and doing the things who I want to become because the people in my circle weren't supporting me to do those things. You know what I mean? So it's a hard one. It's a really hard question and a really hard reality, right? It's a reality. And not having enough exposure was one of them for me because I was, and that one comes from spirituality. I never grew up with it. My family always talked badly about religion and they're Catholic and, you know, nothing ever good comes from, you know, it's always say 10 Hail Marys and whatever. And you gotta, you know, I don't know. And I never learned it because everybody talked badly about it. So that was part of one of my fears. So now I love the church. You know, you guys, if you hear me on my talks on Sunday, I always share what I learned in church because it's important for me to understand the makeup of why I do some of the things that I do. And that's for everybody. Why do you do the things that you do? And your heart is a huge dictator of the things that you do. If you don't know that, if you have hurts in your heart, if you have scars in your heart that you don't know what they're from or why you do things, it's really important to explore those things because your heart controls your head, which your head controls your actions. So if you can learn what's in your heart, there's wisdom that comes from that. Whole different chapter, not even in this book, but I learned that most recently, and it pertains because the courage, sometimes there might be something in there that you don't know, so you have to explore it. And so this particular activity is a little hard. It's hard because if you don't know it, then you go, well, shit, dude, I don't know what's holding me back. But if you had to explore it, does anybody want to take a little time and look at it? How does this chapter resonate with you? Anybody? I'm not going to call on anybody. We don't like this chapter. This is a horrible chapter. Take it out of the book.
Actually, love this chapter, Sin. So I mean, I'll share a little bit because you're familiar with my journey, and shout out to David and Ben, my 2 guys that have actually shared rooms with at these masterminds, things like that. So it's no coincidence that we're all here with Sin.
Right.
And so with that being said, one of the things, Sin, just as a segue into like what you were kind of discussing, as I've been doing a lot of this deep work, was we had come up with something, and I shared it with you literally after our call, but it was a RIP to the things I almost settled for.
Mm.
And so it's kind of like just allowing myself to have that courage to take that step forward. So my word, as we've always come up with words, you know, we've done our vision boards. I've done the
Mhm.
whiteboards. We've done a lot of those things together.
Mhm.
My word is soul. If I'm
Mhm.
gonna do anything, it's and I stole that from Jesse Itzler, so I didn't create it. But it's gonna be, if I'm gonna do anything or anything that it's gonna take time from my kids, whatever I'm gonna do when I'm present, my feet are gonna be on the ground. I'm gonna do with my passion and soul,
Mm.
and make sure that I'm present in that. So like having that as like that whole thing, and then obviously Ken's quote, he's one of my favorite people, but the quote in there that you had in the book where it's when we think at a different level, we move at a different level, and then we expect at a different level. And so it's just like those things that have basically been kind of building this up over the last 3.5 years was
Mhm.
having that courage to literally
Mhm.
step away from everything, because I've reinvented myself over the last like 12 months. I'm not doing anything that I was working on the last 2.5 years. I said goodbye to the ecom stuff. Me and Brian actually dissolved our what we were doing, and
Oh.
it's allowed us to kind of, yeah. So we've made like a couple of changes there. We're still
Mhm.
partners, obviously, in life and everything, but
Yeah.
it's not the main focus. Yeah. And so like I got rid of the office. I was paying like $1,500 for an office that looked good when people would come to visit, but it didn't serve me. And
Mhm.
so I just got rid of all the overhead and literally purged everything out. And like I'm living like within my means. Same thing. I've invested over 6 figures in my personal development at this point. And it's kind of like, okay, when do I get the 6 figures back? And so like that execution aspect, and I'm sure anyone that's been like a mastermind, things like that, it's great to have that, but you said it perfectly. I like Anthony's version where it's you can't read the label when you're inside the jar.
Oh, funny. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's like literally kind of like taking those things that have pieced together and having the courage to be like, what's the one thing that's in common with all the things that I've been through and everything there? And the only thing that's the common denominator is that it's me. And so that's
Always.
the biggest thing that I've really like, really like that spoke to me, because I'm like, okay, are there other people that are successful with the same resources? And there always are. So what's the thing that's stopping me? And now that I've taken like true accountability of that and like extreme ownership,
Mhm.
I feel like that's the part now where I've seen more strides in the last maybe 4.5, 5 months. Now that I've really focused and made myself a priority at the top there. And I've had to
Mhm.
make some pretty hard decisions that I'll share with you on our one-on-one, but it might not look the best like to the outside, but looking in, but I've never felt more driven in that sense. And at the end of the day, it took the courage to be able to have those hard conversations and do the deep work, because I was getting upset I wasn't having the results, but I also wasn't putting in the work for those things. And so that was a hard conversation I had, because I can look cool, calm, and collected in front of everyone when I'm doing the coaching things and all that stuff and sounding all cool. But at the end of the day, I still got to go to bed at night and be content with like, did I do everything that I said I was going to do? Keep the promises to myself. And I can't pour into others what I don't have myself. So keeping my cup full and making that a priority. Pretty big changes that have happened, but yeah, that chapter always speaks to me, because I feel like it's that turning point for us to, like, a lot of us are like on the cusp of breaking through that ceiling.
Yep.
And then like really having that conversation where you still have the hard conversations, knowing where that is and whatever that is, to like break through. And then you realize that like you've always been there. It's just like you had to get out of your own ways. And so just thought I'd share that with you guys.
It's a really, really good example because RIP, rest in peace. I love that. To the things that you almost did, or that you say it again, rest in peace to.
The things I almost settled for.
That's what I
I love
settled
that
for.
so much.
Yes, yes. Rest in peace to the things I almost settled for. And it's funny because I feel it. Like I can feel it in my heart, in my soul, when I go, if you really think about your life and the choices and the power that you have to make decisions, we give it away too often. We let somebody else make the decisions for our life more often than I choose to admit. But the courage, right, comes when you say, let's talk about this. Like it's not always, everybody who's in a relationship, it's not, okay, it's my way or the highway, right? But you want to talk about it, even if it's in a business relationship. I had a hard conversation last week. Woo, it was hard. And we got through it, because there's always two sides, right? Somebody wants it this way, somebody wants it this way. But the courage to stand up for yourself and say, okay, but what about me? Right? Don't always get pushed one way or the other. Same on the other side. Don't do it to somebody else, but to really just own your space, to have that ability to say, let's talk about this, because I'm feeling like, you know, this decision wasn't mine, or this isn't maybe the best for us, or I'm settling for something that I don't think that we should be doing right now. You know what I mean? Those are all things that we could say, and it just opens up a conversation. And sometimes all the time, the best work is in the conversation, in the communication. You'll learn more about yourself. You'll learn more about the other person. And Osborne, I'm not sure how many conversations you had with your significant other, if you want to share, or was it more just your inside, you know what I mean, giving you the courage? You know what I mean? So was it bringing
Yeah.
it to her, or was it more
It's
just
it's
reflecting?
a little bit of both, because like at the end of the day, I can't pour into others what I don't have myself. And so that's that whole thing where it was like you kind of go through the motions every day, and then you start tiptoeing around certain things, and then you're not having those hard conversations.
Mhm.
And so with that being said, it's yeah, looking deep down, it's like, okay, if I'm gonna do this and we're gonna go through all of this, like a lot of the problems that we might have been having,
Mhm.
rather than blaming it getting so hot to the point to where we're just like, you know, we're going at the jugular every single time, and
Mhm.
you know, just saying like, oh, we've been together for 18 plus years,
Mhm.
and then like figuring that out because we're high school sweethearts, right? So like, and then figuring that out, and then realizing like, okay, well, instead of me trying to figure out how I can try to fix this all the time, because that's what I try to do. You know, if you're in a coaching position, what do we do as men? We just try to fix things. Maybe that's
Mhm.
not what she needed.
Mhm.
Maybe she just wanted to be heard. Maybe, you
Mhm.
know, a lot of those things, that a lot of the key words that come from relationship books and things like that. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I would have never done that research up until I made it a priority to actually understand that. Because I was like, man, I'm doing everything. I'm being a provider. I'm figuring these things out. I'm working the long hours and all those things. Then at the end of the day, maybe she just wanted, you know, going back to the love languages, going back to the 4 agreements, literally everything in personal development. It's kind of going back. I'm like, okay, she was literally crying for help, but I didn't provide that space for her because I couldn't see it and I wasn't equipped with that. And so now that I've actually been able to kind of see that now, it's allowing me, whether things are the way that I would like them to be or not, it's allowing us to grow in whatever way that is. And I had to take that upon myself to be like, look, I got to fix me before I try fixing anything else, because that's actually what we kind of shared. I'm the common denominator in everything that's there. So I've been doing
Mhm.
quite a bit of deep work on that aspect. And so,
It's awesome. It really is. And how do you feel?
oh yeah, like I said, I don't know the answers all the time, but like now that I'm
Right.
getting lost in certain things that I'm passionate about, it is
Yeah.
a little bit more freeing, because worst case scenario, we've already gotten to worst case. Now
Yeah.
it's building up.
Yeah.
Like it's like it can only get better from here. And that's the part where I have the confidence, and you know, obviously then it comes back to faith, taking a leap with faith, not of faith, and like really knowing that if I'm constantly doing the right things,
Mhm.
whether or not they benefit me or not, and I want something, you know, not just from people, but literally for them,
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing, you know, going back to that. I feel like I'm waking up with a sense of purpose now. Like the health thing's been a priority. I've lost over 34 pounds, like since the beginning of the year. And like, I'm like,
Good
income
job.
wise, yeah, income wise, I'm hitting certain things like in the coaching space. Like, I'm having a really good revenue month in February, which is traditionally slower. So we've done like
Okay.
over 100, we've done 6 figures already in revenue that I've been able to bring to the company. So it's like, those things are all well and good, but then it's like, am I showing up? So I'm still doing the things that's bad. So
Mhm.
like the priorities are, it's non-negotiable. Like I went to my kids' book club yesterday. My kids go to a private school and I got to make pancakes for the kids. So it's like I'm still doing that and kind of doing those
See?
things where I'm checking those boxes off. And I feel like I'm reinventing myself in a way, like almost RIP to the things I almost settled for, to where I'm almost unrecognizable to the old me. And I feel like that's the powerful part that I'm like really pushing forward. And I got to be honest, articulating it out loud for you guys, it's like therapeutic for me,
Right?
because I get to share it in that sense. So it's like I really do
Yes.
appreciate the safe zone, obviously, and being able to do that, because I don't have to be coach here. I get to just be a part of the community. So
It's
super
awesome.
cool.
And I thank you for sharing, because, you know, everybody, you know, it helps other people share. So does anybody else have a moment or something that they need some help with in the courage spot? What are some things that if you don't know the answers, if you have a few minutes, just we'll talk it through. That's the best part about the book. Club.
I have a lot of things to say, but I don't even know where to begin. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
But
here's the other
last,
thing.
like, few months has been a crazy whirlwind. So, but all good and all taking crazy courage to take a leap with lots of things. And today will be 48 days that I haven't drank alcohol.
Yay!
And yeah, so that's
Yeah.
probably one of the bigger, but
It's
you
good.
know.
It's good. And now you see things a little clearer, right? But the courage, if you don't mind me sharing, is you made that one decision to stand up for yourself and say, right? RIP to settling, right? And if you think about it that way, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was huge. Yeah,
That was
and
huge.
it is. When you said that, I was like, oh yeah, yeah.
And so part of it,
RIP to settling.
that's right. And it's when you talk about it, like if we're keeping it all in, even like Osbert said, it's kind of therapeutic when you talk about it. So if you want to have a one-on-one, that's why I say I'm good at hard conversations. You know, help you see things sometimes that you can't see because you're inside the frame. Lorraine, I'm going to call you out. You're just staring off, dazed and confused. Just kidding. Not kidding. Just kidding.
No, I'm not dazed and confused. Hi. Continue.
She was thinking I gave her a little kick in the ass this week.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful. Look, this is what I was staring at. Can you see her? No, you can't because
It's blurred.
my
you
beautiful daughter is sitting across from me.
Oh, she is
I'm
beautiful.
Thank you.
The courage, right? Took you, I didn't notice all this chat. You want to share that?
I haven't exactly figured out what I'm doing there yet with that. So I'm looking and yeah, I don't have these answers yet. I'm looking at your examples, right? I have them right here. And I just don't have them yet. I was thinking, oh, we're gonna need a phone call for this one.
Okay, well, I'm gonna speak to the one.
But
Well, I would like to just share what happened on, I think it was Wednesday.
yes,
What were you
please.
what were you doing? And I said, I just said I'm checking on you, I think.
Yes.
And you showed me a picture.
Oh yes, and the picture was me. I was in my bed. I had the computer. I had your book, cup of coffee, big yellow notepad. I don't know if you guys use those. And you might be able to tell the story better, but not now. Not now. I think I was having a hard morning, right? I was having a hard morning, and you checked in, and I was like, I'm having a hard morning, but I didn't go to sleep. It was like it was like I was trying to not be depressed, and I wanted to stay in bed and stay asleep. And I didn't let myself do that. You know, I made myself get up. I set everything up. I got to work. I started to get to work, and then you texted me, and while you were there, I was like, oh, she's here. Let me finish my affirmation and let me set my alarm to get them done. And I did both of those things, and it was amazing. And then she made me do 10 jumping jacks and 10 push-ups. And then I didn't go back and sit in bed and work. I got up and I got in the shower.
So
and it was amazing, and I felt great. And she, you know, it was like the kick in the butt. I was halfway there, but she was like, try these things to get to the other side. And got the money card. And so that's what happened.
This is the part that I wanted you to get to.
Okay.
When you have a certain comfort zone, right? You want to stay warm, you want to stay in bed, you want to be comfortable doing the things that you're doing. No, So get up. So do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, because then it makes you feel differently. You're changing your state, right? You're getting out of those emotions where you're warm and comfortable. And you said the word depressed, and I understand that there are certain things in life, but there are certain things that we can do to get out of it. It's not, I'm not saying it's a one size fits all, but I'm just saying in that particular moment, I saw a couple of things that I was like, okay, do this, get out of bed, change your state, and it changes your whole day. If you would have stayed in bed, right, what would have happened?
I would have gotten further upset with myself for not getting anything done and for not reaching my commitments and for being, for the lack of better words, weak, and just, yeah, it would have made things worse. And I knew that. I already know that,
So one of the things in my new journal is, what is it that you know that you do it anyway? What is it? I know it. I know it. I know it. Well, you just admit it. I know it. But you have to take the steps to change it. And that's the courage part, right? Don't fall back into those things that keep you warm and comfortable and complacent. Do the hard thing, get your ass out of bed, kick yourself in the ass, change your state, get some energy, and move forward. And then because of the things that you had just done, it will help you do the next hard thing. You'll be like, I already did something, you know what I mean? And it'll just keep going. It will just keep going. So thank you for sharing. I just wanted you to see it. I wanted you to say it out loud so that you can hear it. Like Osbert said, it's therapeutic. Like you get it out instead of rolling around in your own head, and you hear it from somebody else's perspective. So I hope it was helpful.
It was very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else? Yeah,
I'm
you've
gonna
been
step in
quiet,
here.
kid. Yeah, you've been
Yeah,
quiet.
I need to step in here because first and foremost, Lauren, I want to definitely give you a handshake for that and a high five, a little bit of a high five for the push-ups. Yeah, because I'll call everybody out for push-ups because it is definitely one of those things that I mean, it's so simple. It's 10 push-ups. But it starts your mind back on where you need to be, and that's kind of the reason why I do that. It is again for me. It's not for you guys. It's for me, because if I don't do it, I'll just I'll slug out, and I'll be I'll look like Jabba the Hutt's little brother at the end of the day, and I don't want to do that. So. But it comes down to, for me, it is having the courage to stop what I'm doing at 10 o'clock. Quickly shoot a video of doing 10 push-ups and then posting it to a group. Now, I love to communicate with people. It's one of those things. But it is definitely where I'm going, you know what? And I'm working to the live side of it. I always like just record it, because then I feel like I can do a little better of a job. And sometimes done is better than good, I guess, is the best quote. And for me, one of it is it's a psychological for me is if I just show up to the gym, even 5 minutes, I already know I'm already here. I'm not going to stay for 5 minutes. It's going to turn into a half an hour to an hour. Getting off my blessed assurance and getting out and doing that one thing that I need to get done. Be it, contacting a customer and getting them into get into the fix their game, or I have a couple of commercial accounts that I've got a little bit of latitude on when I can go over there and work on their stuff for them, instead of going, I'll do it tomorrow morning. Nope, just get over there, get there before your brain can mentally tell you, no, don't worry about it. Just get it out of here and we'll do it tomorrow. Procrastinate. So I'm what you would call a professional procrastinator. So yeah, definitely on that mode. So, but yeah, that's one of my spots. So
it. Are we just
Mhm.
gonna leave it at that?
Well, I know it, and then it really is. It really turns into a 50-50 game, because most times I will just get off my blessed assurance and go and do it. It is warm in the bed. I don't want to get out of bed, but I get it. It's more of a metaphorical look at it, but it's a real thing. Should I go over and take care of customers A's games today, or push it off to tomorrow? Well, get in the car, get started driving, and then go, yeah, I'm on the way. I might as well just go and do it. So But there are times that I do say, I know it, but I got better things to do, or I need to do something else, or I can convince myself that it's not that important today. So, but that does bite me in the backside, though. It does bite me in the backside
Yeah.
because when I don't get it done, billable hours are not invoiced, and that's bad for the budget. So, I definitely know. I definitely know.
So when we say we know, right? So we have history, you know, we've been in each other's lives a long time. So I'm just going to put this out there. I'm going to say this, okay? Benjamin,
Yes.
pick your top 2 or 3 priorities. Just start there. And if you already know them, I know, then put them up somewhere so that they're staring you in the face. Because when you know it's a priority, you make it a priority, this will change. I know that there's days, I know that there's those days, but if it's staring you in the face, it'll be different. You'll see it more often. I know, but you'll be like, okay, well, what's the outcome? What are you getting on the other side? Right?
Mhm.
Budget, billable hours.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that's still one of the top priorities.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't pay the bills without that money.
And I know sometimes that it's crazy because it always just falls on us. Like I have a lot of responsibilities, and some days I don't freaking want to do them. I don't. Some days I just don't want to do them. Sometimes I don't want to be the teacher. Sometimes I don't want to lead. I'm like, I just want to go do nothing. So everybody has those days, and I take them when I can because it's good for me, right? You don't always want to do those things. So build them in, right? Don't do your billable hours every waking moment. Like build in your time, build in the things that give you joy so that you have a good, you know, balance of what you want and what you have to do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. And yes, I know this. See, that's almost a loaded thing though, because anything you say is going to be, well, I know I need to be doing that, and it's loaded all the way across the board. So
So what's that differentiator that's going to change it from I know to I did it? What's the differentiator that's going to change it?
you know,
Just think, I was going to say, just think on it. Just think about it.
well, it's really that first step. It's just doing. Quit thinking about it and just doing it and saying, I know I need to be doing this, and just go, I did this. It's that check mark. It's just finishing it off. And that's where, and that for me, that's one of those. I know this. And yes, you and I have had multiple conversations. Well, if you know, why aren't you doing it? Well, that I don't know. The fear of success. I guess.
Affirmation's good there.
Yeah, I guess that for me, that's one of the bigger ones is, do I know the things that I can do those hard things? And on the other side of it, the things that are stressing me out today may not be an issue tomorrow because I did it. Yeah, but I don't know. I know I could do it.
This is good,
So-
Ben. It's really good.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else. This is my struggle. I mean, I can't speak to everybody else, but I know for me, it's a struggle for me because I do get afraid of success. You know, what is that going to look like if I close a $25,000 deal with a client? I don't know. I don't know what that looked like.
Just start to romance it. Just start to feel it. Just start to get in there and be like, oh my gosh, I could do this. I could do this. You know, where's this money going to take us? And then maybe that can open another door to another one, right?
Yeah.
Just start to really romance it. And I would encourage you to take those 2 words out of your vocabulary.
I know.
Start to
Okay, I'll take that right out of there. I know. I'll take that right out of my.
Just change it. Just change it. Because I feel like, and it's just what I'm hearing, I feel like it's your crutch. It's okay, because I know. It's okay, because I know. If you just change it to I did it, just try that and see what happens. It's fun. It's exciting. I can see the uncertainty on your face, and you're like kind of a little mad about it, but it's okay. It's just uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable.
It is very much uncomfortable because
Yeah.
I know what I need to be doing. I know it. And it's full right there in full view. I mean, I'm trying to be as crystal clear about this as I can and as transparent. That's huge.
Mhm.
But it truly is. I mean, would I like to be able to be at a point in my life where I don't have to struggle as much when it comes to some of the finances? Heck yeah. Who wouldn't?
That's a good affirmation right there. That's a good affirmation. Instead of saying, would I like to? Yes, say, I am, right? Change that into your affirmation so that you can see it,
Mhm.
right? Would I like to? Yes, I would. Well, I am going to be.
I'm jotting it down as we speak.
That's good because I forget it often, but it hit me when you said it. And I was like, oh, there it is. There it is right there. So because you can't see it, Ben. It's because you
Yeah.
can't see it. So help yourself walk through that. And I am financially free. I am put the big words in there. Don't go on the low side. I am I'm sorry, because what did you say? You said I would love to be is what you said. I would love to be
I would love to be financially secure and not have to
yeah,
worry about the bills.
that's right, and not have to worry. So write that through your affirmation because you want the feeling with it, right? I am financially free and living a life you can say you dream of. I create. You can something that resonates with you. How do you feel when you're financially free and you're less stressed or not having to worry as much, right? So get it to that point where it's that next level, because that's the part that you're going for. That's the part that you need to change in your head, right? That constant wheel. And again, I did. Write that and put it up right in front of you. I did, not I know. I did.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm proud of you. He's uncomfortable, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because it does take a lot. I mean, and we've seen it. We've seen it, and so I want to encourage you to talk about it. It changes a lot of things when you have somebody that you can do that with, because if you're in the same set of friends, if the spouse, whomever you have, is giving you the same conversation and you're not getting to that next level of conversation, then you're going to keep repeating the same thing. It's just going to just keep going around and around in a circle. So thank you for sharing. I'm very proud of you. It's really good. Julie or David, do you want to share anything? It is getting a little late, but I want, if you want to, I'm here for you. If you want to. Is it hard? I asked you to unmute if you want to. But you can say no. No. There you
Okay,
go.
now,
You got it. Yeah.
okay. I've been trying to do the affirmation stuff and it really works for me, but we've been moving the clinic. And so there's a lot of challenges with that.
Mhm.
As there is moving anything, finding the space to put everything. And so I've been using I can do hard things, but my biggest challenge is drama, like you said. So that's now my newest thing. It's like, I don't want to I don't want the drama. And in any situation, where there's a lot of people, there's a lot of personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, you said, what do you want to change? That's the part in me I want to change, is how to step out of it. Step out of that circle. So I'm looking at the, if you change what you think, you change what happens.
When you
That's-
change what you think, it changes how you think. So in your office and the drama, has there ever been a point where you simply voice that there's drama and you say, I don't want to deal with it? Or is it always just kind of how do you react when there's drama? What do you do?
I go back and forth. When I can control me, I just kind of step away from it. It's a situation where kind of the emperors say, walk on eggshells around this person. And yet you can't, because this person is like a bulldozer and is all about me. So, I try to put myself in a bubble to stay away. It's not only me that is affected this way, but it's really hard because for whatever reason, they're kind of protected. They're on the same level, but everybody just kind of says, just avoid them. And my new situation is I have my own space. I'm stepping out of one division into another, but they can walk into it. So.
And so they're a peer of sorts. It's not any type of hierarchy. It's a peer.
Correct.
It's funny because Brandon Dawson, I mean, you can have that. Brandon Dawson works for Cardone Ventures. He's put together millions of companies, millions of dollars. And the people portion is so huge because that's a cancer in your culture, right? They're doing something that is affecting every single person, right? So whose decision is it to get rid of that cancer? If that cancer, right, is stunting, prohibiting growth in any way in your culture, your company, why wouldn't they get rid of them?
Government.
Okay, so that's a little harder. Can you
only way I could
approach
say it.
Can you approach the person, or would it be too
No.
detrimental?
We have gone around and around.
Okay.
And it always comes back to the same thing, is I don't know, for some reason she is so, it's interesting because there's
Is it just me? Do we lose her?
Am I here?
Oh, there. You're a little bit back. It's a hard spot for sure. How many years has it been?
Probably 3.
Yeah, that's a long time to put up with that.
Somehow.
Oh, hon, you're stuck.
Yeah, somehow 2 months in. Yeah, 2 months in, she got to HR. And since that, even the supervisor above her couldn't do anything.
Then the hard part is you have to ask yourself, is this the way I want to live? I know we use some affirmations, right? Is this the only job that you could have? We talked about a couple little things that you could maybe possibly,
Yeah.
yeah. I think affirmations are helpful, but you really have to use your positivity to just really deflect all of that negativity. It's almost like a shield. And I understand that it's hard sometimes because I know I get there sometimes and somebody will pull my positivity and I'm like, but you remove yourself. I could do jumping jacks. I could do push-ups. And it's funny because those things just change your state. It creates the endorphins. So it changes how you feel, right? But you have to know those things to do inside that moment so that you don't let her negativity affect you in the way that it normally has. It's finding your inner voice to say, I always use the hurting people, you hurt people, because for some reason there's something in her that makes her want to act that way. It's not you, right? It's her. So if you
Right.
can, ground yourself or give yourself that rooting to say, this is for whatever reason, how she is or whatnot, then it will give you, the emotion inside to say, to feel that it's not you. You see what I'm saying? It's that deflection. You'll have to come up with a few tools. One is the affirmation, which is great. Sometimes it's getting outside, taking a walk. Sometimes it's putting on a song that will get you out of that mindset that somebody just friggin' stole from you. It's creating joy for yourself, because there's always going to be somebody, right? There's always going to be somebody that doesn't quite gel with you, or you take the wrong way, or they take you the wrong way. So
Right.
there's moments where you can create your own joy. Again, I realize that if it's like an everyday occurrence, it's a lot. So then the courage is, do you stand up for yourself, right? And you say, this is not how I want to
Right.
live my life. And what are my options? Can you say that to somebody there? Can you start something new? Are you willing to, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are hard questions. Like, really evaluate where you're at. Because if it's really taking from other aspects of your life, you really have to say, is this the way I want to live? Is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to be? And it's hard
Yeah.
because it's the other person having you do that. But I believe life is happening for me and not to me. There's a reason. There's a reason why you're having this problem. It's calling something out in you. Maybe it's, to stand up and show other people in your company, this is not right. This is not acceptable. I mean, yes, you let her get away with it, but it doesn't mean it's right. She's affecting
Exactly.
everybody else, and this is what's happening. So there's some hard questions there. And we can talk about it a little bit more offline, but
Okay.
it's just something that you have to just really evaluate, it's just one of those things. But affirmations are huge, and don't let her steal your joy.
Yes. Thanks.
And smile often, because it kills them.
Makes them wonder.
It really does. It really does. Don't let her see you sweat. Smile often.
Exactly.
We are going a bit long. David, how you doing? How's your first book club?
It was great. Thank
Yeah?
you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I wasn't able to hit the first two.
That's okay.
Just a lot of things going on the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. But
I've been listening to Grant a lot the last 2 weeks.
yes. My original mentor. It's great. I still love it.
Yeah, your little guy that came out before
That's right.
Tony.
That's right. Sassy ass Spitfire says, if I can do it, you can do it. So, anything that you want to share, David? We're happy you're here.
I've got the book, but as far as dealing with husband and wife, my situation on that part. But in the mastermind that I had yesterday in there, they talked about that. They talked about getting people on the same page, and one guy what he did was he read a list of everything that the wife is doing, and she's tired of it because all he's doing is coming home. You know, he goes out, makes some money, comes home, and he's tired. He don't have any time for her or the kids or anything like that. And between Pete, Natalie, and Brandon, they try to talk him through, and they said to, you know, both of you sit down and make a list of everything that you want out of the partnership,
Mhm.
and then try to see if you can put them together. You know, say, okay, you know, if you don't take care of the kids enough, then spend a little bit, you know, wake them up early in the morning, and, you know, like Grant does, and plays with them or talks to them, and, you know,
Mhm.
at least he's got that time with them.
Mhm.
And then just try to make out in certain times and spaces,
Mhm.
you know, what can we do to get more in that? And I
In
guess,
alignment.
yeah, I guess in a way, I've got the Elena's book with, was that, Build an Empire?
Mhm.
But I haven't read it, but I guess it goes really deep in that book
Mhm.
between her and Grant.
Right. But the relationship is encourage, you know, to do that, you know, bringing it back to this situation. And you can do it with yourself. That's the whole question. What do I want? You know, even if you don't have a significant other, but it's still, you are a priority. What do you want? And then list those priorities. It comes back to the same basics. You know what I mean? The alignment is even with yourself. Sometimes you don't know because you haven't taken the time to do it. So write it down, get it out. Once you have it out, then you can really look at it in front of you and say, okay, these are my priorities. What can I do? Just the same as you just said, what can I do to make a change? So I don't want to go too long. It's 9:00. We had a great book club. I really, really appreciate you guys sharing in the space, because that's the whole point of the club, right? Everybody can just read the book, but really having the conversations and sharing so that we can get to, you know, helping each other and getting to those next steps so that we can, you know, sometimes we just don't know how to do it, but and I'm here for you. You know, a lot of you know each other in the group, and then ladies, you're local. So we can all have a sit down if you want to, because we're all right here. So that's pretty cool too. I do want to tell you, even the boys, David, don't hop on a plane, but boys, if you want to drive down March 12th, I'm telling the ladies too, because you're all here. March 12th, I'm having a huge party at the restaurant. It's my 20-year anniversary. So if you would like to, I would love to see your smiling faces, but I'm just putting it out there. March 12th, it's a Sunday. The time is from 1 until 4, so it's 3 hours. Is it in the calendar? David, do not hop on a plane.
It's on my calendar.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. I think you all are amazing and you're doing really great work. So I want to say thank you for being here. Oh, I want to take a quick picture. Week 3. Loran, turn your phone on. Turn your camera on.
Sorry, I was putting it in my calendar.
Oh,
I thought my camera was on.
I love you guys. You guys are Loran. Oh, yeah, you got your book. Yes. Yes.
Oh, wait, I left my book at my computer. Hold
It's
on.
fine. It's fine. I'm just making sure you got it. You got it. You got it.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Hurry, 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 hurry.
Oh, you're cute. You guys are cute. You guys are great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. You're all doing amazing. Again, one-on-ones if you need them. Thank you. I'm here for you.
Hey guys, see you later.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.